Rev up your engines!
Geely, the big Chinese corporation, has a new all-electric Galaxy E5 SUV that starts below $16,000. Now, they're going to be selling it around the world, Europe, China. The United States will be a big deal because, they're talking about tariff and you put 100% tariff on the Chinese cars, la, 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 la. But it just shows you something. The Chinese can sell these things for $16,000 in Europe. These are SUVs. They look pretty much like a Model Y. They're not some little pile of junk that you can't fit people in. Regular SUVs, if the Chinese can make those things at that price, let me tell you, there's no hope for the American manufacturing sector because there's no way. They can barely build electric cars for 40-something thousand that don't fall apart. If the Chinese really hit the nail on the head with this one and they can make SUVs for $16,000, companies like Tesla are going to be shaking and quaking in their boots. They could never make something at that price point. Why do you think we're wearing Chinese clothes, Chinese shoes? The other day I got batteries. Of course, where are they made? Lithium ion, made in China. Phones, made in China, right? They can do it more efficiently. And tariffs is not the way to go. Why should we as American citizens pay more money for stuff? Because the American corporations are greedy, inefficient, can't make things for a decent price. And don't tell me, people will say, whoa, but that's American jobs. American jobs, they're moving all the jobs to Mexico anyway. All the U.S. manufacturing, they're moving to Mexico just for cheaper labor. And then under their BS laws in Washington, they include Mexico as part of America, so they don't put a tariff on the stuff that come from Mexico, even though they're making them cheap down there and it's taking jobs away from Americans, right? But they allow that because corporations want to make them cheaper. And have the American corporations lowered the prices of these vehicles? No, they haven't. They make them in Mexico. They charge even more money for them. The quality's, how are they going to compete with the Chinese? You got me, Maybe they need a radical overhauling of what's going on. If the Chinese can do it, hey, they're using machines, mainly. The Chinese manufacturing, their factories are extremely autonomous. They don't have that many workers on it. Most of their workers are actually engineers to fix the machines that build the cars, the robots, right? So, hey, if the Chinese can build robots, we should certainly be able to build robots that do the same type of stuff, right? And then the price range would not be that much difference. Robots are robots. It's just mind-boggling that they can make something for 16 grand and we can't. Well, if you wonder about Chrysler, Stellantis, and the problems they're having with flaking paint on aluminum parts, it isn't just Jeep. It's a lot of their products. Now, if you know about Jeeps, they have a problem with the paint bubbling all over on many of their aluminum parts on the vehicle. Obviously, they didn't know how to paint them in the first place. The hood on the Pacificas, the van. The only Chryslers that are made now are the vans, right? The paint's coming off of them. They obviously didn't know how to paint them. You'd think they'd know how to paint things by now, right? But obviously, they don't. Painting aluminum's gonna be different than painting steel. Steel rusts, but aluminum corrodes. And they obviously haven't figured it out. One guy had a Jeep with the paint was all flaking off the hood, and he said, none of the dealers in Northern Virginia would touch my warranty work because they said I didn't buy the car from them. You'd think, hey, it's a Jeep dealer, right? No. Well, you didn't buy it from us, too bad. What a sort of disaster area Jeep is. And the whole Chrysler Corporation and Stellantis, as far as I'm concerned. So finally, he takes it to the one in Maryland, and they fixed it, but he said the warranty wouldn't touch the faded paint on the fenders. It's just that the hood was coming off, but it was fading away on the fenders, too. They didn't paint them right, but they didn't fix that. So John looked out, and he said, is it just this particular vehicle, only mine? And he says, hey, I walked in the parking lot, my kid's swim meet, I found 6 more Chrysler Pacificas, and 5 of them had the same corrosion on the aluminum hood where the paint was coming off. So obviously they screwed up. And the guy talked to the shop manager and he said, hey, the shop manager that I work with said, it's a pretty common problem with Chryslers. Apparently related to poor materials, cutting corners on prep, and working too fast and painting them. So, again, Chrysler, Stellantis, poor quality. They want people to buy their vehicles. They're making them like crap. And then they make you jump through hoops to get them fixed. And they only fixed the hood. They didn't fix the fenders where they were fading away, too. So, Talk about a half-assed attempt to fix things. That's Chrysler for you. Well, here's some more great Hyundai quality. Well, I tell you not to buy these Korean cars, right? Now they're recalling 49,000 Hyundai because the airbags may deploy. You go down the road just driving and boom. Boy, there's an accident waiting to happen, right? Or conversely, if you do get in a wreck, they may not work. So great. They're so crappy that they might blow off while you're driving down the road, but at the same time, you get in a wreck, they may not work at all. You couldn't do much worse of a job than that, all right? The two worst things that could happen would be you get in a wreck, they don't work. Or you're driving down the road and all of a sudden they blow off when you're going 60 miles an hour and you can't see what's happening. I actually had that happen to a customer of mine, but it was a Chrysler van. They're just as poorly made, right? This was years and years and years ago. They were going down the road and they hit a bump on the road. Now I went, the airbags went off. He said it scared the heck out of him, and he was lucky there was a bunch of guys in the car, and the guy next to him helped grab the steering wheel so they didn't lose control, and they came to a stop, and they were all flabbergasted, right? This is what's absolutely insane. This is for 2024, brand new Santa Fe HEV vehicles. And what they're saying is the main floor wiring harness may chafe against the passenger side row bench seat assembly and become damaged, which can cause the airbags to deploy unintentionally or prevent the airbags from deploying in a crash. Talk about crap building. That's why I say, don't buy these cars. And these are the ones that they found now. Wait, in the future. This is 2024 now. As time goes on, they'll probably find all kinds of other flaws too. I just read an article. Tesla doesn't know how to sell cars to normal people. And let me tell you, I agree with this guy entirely. His whole thing is that, yeah, they sold a lot of Teslas because it's the Tesla fanboys and fangirls, right? They buy them because they're nuts about it. It's a belief. It's the holy church of Elon Musk and Tesla, right? And they believe in it, so they give all their money to the church. In this case, it's a car manufacturer, right? But now he's having a problem because regular people are like, I'm not that interested in these cars. He's kind of hit the glass ceiling where the people that want to buy these cars, the rich people with money, they bought them. And now he's got to try to sell the people that really aren't that interested, right? There the cars are, and he thinks they're going to sell themselves. Well, I love the title of this guy's article. Tesla doesn't know how to sell cars to normal people, because I'll tell you, that is the truth. It's ingrained in the company. It's got the snob thing to it, right? I went to a Tesla place in the Galleria in Houston when I was living here years ago. They were just absolute snobs to me, because I just came in a t-shirt and jeans and my work boots, right? Who's this guy? We don't care about him. Why should we care about this guy? He's a nobody, right? Then they go to the people wearing suits and ties. And I said, hey, can I road test one? Well, you'll have to make an appointment to road test one. You know, I'm like, oh my God, it was too much. They don't know how to sell to normal people, right? Not one iota. And it's going to be a big problem for them now. Just thinks they're going to sell themselves, right? And yeah, there's a fan base. There's some lunatics that are nuts about this stuff, but he's going to run out of the fan base soon. A lot of it too has to do with political beliefs and stuff. He's alienated a lot of the people, because a lot of the people that buy him are very, liberal minded, and he's going to the right. So he's alienated his own base. And they really don't know how to sell cars to normal people. It's just a fan base, and they're just going to come in and buy everything in sight because they're nuts about it. Well, guess what? The handwriting's on the wall now. How are you going to sell them to regular people at that price point? And the regular people, they don't want the hassle of electric cars. I have met regular people that bought electric cars, and they all told me, I'll never buy another electric car. Now, some of them were smart. They didn't buy the electric car. They're leasing it. And they all said to a man and woman, okay, get rid of this. We're going to get a regular car next time, maybe a Toyota, but we're not going to get an electric car. We don't like having to curtail our lifestyle to the car's lifestyle. Where can I charge it up? Where can I put it? How do I take care of it so it lasts longer? Like Ford Motor Company and their electric pickup truck. In the winter, they'd say, well, don't run the heat. It uses too much energy. Just use the heated seat and the heated steering wheel and wear a coat and gloves while you're driving the car. Yeah, you're going to pay $100,000 for something and have to drive like that, right? Americans want cars to fit their lifestyles, not vice versa. California just made a decision to prohibit what's called the Net Value Billing Tariff, NVBT. Now, that law was aimed at creating a just compensation mechanism for solar panels that would enable the credits earned through the sales of the generated electricity reflect their contribution to the utilities network. Even the wording of that is insane. This is California. They got too many lawyers, right? The strategy was meant to improve solar access to households and increase community-shared solar projects in California. The California Public Utilities Commission, here we have government bureaucrats, they dismissed it. The three largest utility companies lobbied for the ban of this NVBT law because they said it would impose costs on other customers. Obviously, the utility companies don't want competition, right? It would impose costs on other of their customers. Now, wait a second. We all know utility companies, they jab us like mad, rip us off for as much money as possible for electricity. Now, in California, they're pretending, well, we don't like this law because it'll increase the cost to our customers. They don't give a hoot in Hades about their customers. They just want to sell electricity. The problem is, if you got solar generation stuff that actually is doing something, that's taking money out of the pocket of these guys. It was bad enough that originally in California, when people had the solar panels, it was working out okay for them because the utility companies had to buy back the electricity that people didn't use, and they had to pay them a fair price. But then they changed the law that they could pay them a lot less, which I predicted anyways. Any fool could see that. Let's see, if they're charging you 25 cents a kilowatt hour, they're not going to pay you 25 cents back. They cut it way back. So a lot of people that bought them thinking, okay, I'm going to get this money back over the years. It'll pay for it, la, la, la. No, then they just cut a whole bunch of the money that they paid to buy it back, meaning that they're generating cheaper electricity for the utility company. They're paying for it, and they're not getting back the money that they were supposed to because all they have to do is change the law of what they have to pay you. Right? And they control it. Let's face the facts. The utility companies are giant corporations. They got lobbyists all over the place. And in this case, they help ban this bill that they're not going to use it. As the writer of one article said, millions of solar panels and 8 gigawatts are at risk. You will lose $100 monthly because of the utility company lobby. Even in California, they can't agree about creating green electricity. They promised people one thing, better money if they put solar panels, and then they cut the money they're going to pay them. Anything that has to do with California bureaucrats and corporations, you know it's going to be a triple mess. And in this case, it certainly is. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.